So, have you ever really stopped to think about what salvation means? We're diving into a daily devotional that has this pretty powerful idea that salvation is way more than just forgiveness. It's actually about a total, divine restoration of your entire life. Let's break down what that really looks like.
And really, it all comes down to this one big question, right? When a life has been, shattered, can it actually be put back together again? And we're not just talking about moving on. We're talking about really reclaiming everything that was lost. The devotional we're digging into today, it says the answer is a huge, resounding yes.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the core promise of what this restoration thing is all about. Then, we'll get into how it happens, this idea of becoming the new man. After that, we'll see it play out in a really powerful story, bring it all back to our daily lives, and then finish up with a call to actually put this faith into practice. Sound good?
All right, let's dive right in with the big idea. What does this devotional actually mean when it uses the word restoration? You know, this concept, it goes so much deeper than just being forgiven. The way it's presented here, restoration is this active, ongoing process. It's about taking back what was broken or lost. We're talking about things like your sense of purpose, your dignity, even that divine potential you were created with. It's about being genuinely, truly put back together again. And get this isn't just a spiritual tune-up. It's meant to be totally comprehensive, reaching into every single corner of a believer's life. We're talking a full renewal, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and even morally. It's the whole package, a complete and balanced transformation. Okay, so if total restoration is the end game, then how in the world does it actually work? Well, the devotional points to a very specific mechanism for this change, this concept of becoming the new man.
And this verse from Colossians, it's absolutely central to the whole idea. See that phrase, put on the new man? That language suggests this isn't some one-and-done deal. It's a continuous, active process of renewal. It's about constantly becoming more and more like the image of the one who created you.
Now, what I find really interesting here is the focus on our part in all this. It's like, salvation kicks off the process, but it's not a passive ride. It actually requires our active cooperation. And the devotional lays out 3 essential steps for that transformation: consistent prayer, really digging into the Word, and good old-fashioned daily obedience.
You know, abstract ideas are one thing, but a story really brings it to life, doesn't it? So let's look at a classic example from the Bible, the story of Zacchaeus, to see what this restoration thing looks like in the real world. So first, let's paint the picture. You've got this guy, Zacchaeus, and his whole life, his entire identity, is wrapped up in his sin. He's a chief tax collector, which basically means he's public enemy number 1. Hated by his entire community. He is the poster child for the kind of brokenness that we're talking about. And then, everything changes. The turning point. Zacchaeus has this encounter with Jesus, and it's like a spark hitting gasoline. It's this one single moment that just ignites a massive, immediate change deep in his heart. And here's the kicker, the proof that something real happened. Zacchaeus' restoration wasn't just some warm, fuzzy feeling. No way. It showed up in his actions. He stands up and commits to living right, promising to pay back everyone he ripped off. That action right there, that's the proof of his new purpose, his totally transformed character. Okay, so that's a great story from 2,000 years ago. But what does it have to do with us, right now? Well, this is where the devotional makes a crucial link. It connects that exact same principle to today, arguing that the very same restorative power is available for us right here, right now. And this slide just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? It's a total before and after. On one side, you've got this life that's just fragmented, weighed down by burdens, and completely defined by past mistakes. But then, after, through this process of salvation and restoration, that same life becomes purposeful, incredibly resilient, and full of hope.
And we're talking about real, tangible results here. Again, it's not just an internal feeling. We're talking about actual qualities that completely reshape a person's life. Things like a renewed sense of hope, a real and genuine confidence, a deep integrity, the kind of resilience that helps you get through anything. And what happens then? Well, that transformation naturally inspires you to want to serve and help others.
All right, this brings us to our last section. And here's where the devotional makes a really important shift.
It moves from just explaining the what to laying out the how, a practical game plan for putting this into action.
And it all gets very personal with this question. This is really the pivot point, It's where we move from theory into practice. It's a nudge, an encouragement to take all these ideas and actually apply them to your own life.
So, what does this actually look like on a practical level? Well, the call to action breaks it down into 4 simple steps. Step 1, take an honest look and identify the areas in your life that you know need restoration. Step 2, you actively invite the Holy Spirit to come in and start that work of renewal. Step 3, you begin to declare it, to speak it out, that your life is being restored. And finally, step 4, you make a commitment to actually walk in that renewal, day by day, choice by choice.
So we're going to leave you with this one final thought, a question that really gets to the core of everything we've talked about. If you start to see life not just as being forgiven for your past, but as being actively restored for your future, how does that radically change the way you look at your own past failures, your mistakes, your shortcomings? Think about that. Because that shift in perspective, well, that's the whole point.